Final exhibit, Ninja Gaiden 3, The Ancient Ship of Doom. Released, yep, you guessed it, another year later. Plotline-wise, this takes place in between its two predecessors, smack dab in the middle if you will, and a conspiracy has taken place involving the murder of CIA agent Irene Liu, who's only been with Hayabusa throughout the entire series. And you'll never guess who's behind it. Our famed Dragon Ninja yet again. Except it's not really him, oh fuck no. Now it's up to the real Hayabusa, who in clear as day reality had nothing to do with the homicide in any form, to turn the tables on the copycat son of a bitch who's been using his real name and avenge Agent Liu's death. Now in terms of gameplay, it's the same parameters as always, platforming, weapons, the whole nine. The only few weapons new to Hayabusa's arsenal this time around are the powerful Super Dragon Sword, which dramatically increases Hayabusa's attack range and power, creating a bigger attack wave similar to Strider Hiryu, and the horizontal vacuum wave, which fires two energy blades simultaneously, above and below the masked protagonist. Also, unlike the first two games, there are some auto-scrolling vertical sections in a few stages, complete with well-animated backgrounds throughout, and they mostly stay animated even while the game's paused. Concerning Ancient Ship of Doom's challenge, compared to its two predecessors, its level has decreased to about half of the previous game. Even so, that's not to say that the game's become cheap in terms of difficulty. Gaiden 3 has still got that gritty, hard-hitting test of wits that the series is most known for. In the Japanese Famicom edition, as well as the Ninja Gaiden Trilogy SNES remake, the game's made out to be more, if less, of a cakewalk, complete with infinite continues and a password system, whereas for the American release, we don't get shit but 5 measly continues. Waste them all, and you've got to start all the way back at the beginning. No offense to Tecmo, but heartless much? Yeah, that's right, I went there. In terms of music and sound, composed by the combined efforts of Keiji Yamagishi, Hakase, and Ryuichi Nitta, aka BB, they've pretty much compiled an unforgettable soundtrack, mostly from the accompanying cutscenes, all the way to the stages that take place in between them, not to mention the boss themes. They've done a stellar, fantastic job with the supporting compositions throughout the game, enveloping nothing but the catchiest, action-infused, and suspenseful scores. Seriously, how can you go wrong with all that shit? Graphically, taking its release date into steadfast consideration, the cutscenes were nothing short of a marvel to witness, and so was Hayabusa himself, especially in-game no less. His in-game actions respond very well to the player's designated button commands, running, climbing, slashing, jumping, and using his assigned weapons. Same story with both the interior and exterior stage backgrounds. Runmaru, the game's designer, went the extra mile to give us awe-inspiring visuals within the game, as well as its two sequels that followed. As for the assorted enemies, in terms of various mercenaries, wildlife, and demons, all of them are true to life, and on a scale of 1 to 10 on their threat level, my overall range throughout the course of the game is a sharp 2.5 to 10 and above. as far as fun factor and replayability, remember the challenge/difficulty topics I mentioned earlier? My best bet is to study each and every single level starting with Act 2. Who knows, the chances of passing them, no matter how slim one might perceive them to be, might just eventually expand beyond belief. Same story with the boss patterns, starting with the end of Act 3 and onward. Like the aforementioned cheap-ass stage hazard deaths, it's only a matter of time before you get your lungs, as well as your derriere and kentama, or balls in this case, handed back to you in a chemical flask if you're not strategy savvy enough. Musically, despite some of the same themes being recycled from its predecessor, namely the axe intro and boss themes, most of the new compositions in the soundtrack are guaranteed to keep the player on the edge of his or her seat the whole game through. The dynamic, indestructible duo of Shitamachi Kajiya and Mayu Okamura really revved up the scoring in most of the stages and cutscenes. Graphically, the Dark Sword of Chaos is on the up and up as ever. Nothing too damn flashy, especially on the characters featured within the cutscenes. The enemies and backgrounds are definitely easy to interact with as before. Despite not being improved upon much, if at all, from the last game, they are still nothing short of clear. Fun factor and replayability wise, Gaiden 2 is a bit higher as opposed to the last game. Otherwise, please refer to the same subject outlined revolving around the last game. Music and sound-wise, aside from yet another brilliantly composed soundtrack, this time by the combined efforts of Hiroshi Miyazaki, Kaori Nakabai, and Rika Shigeno, every time Hayabusa attacks via his sword and or his ninja magic, his soundbite-laden assault shouts are heard throughout every stage. Graphics-wise, they're the same as ever, if maybe just a bit too detailed in comparison to its two predecessors. But who the hell am I to beat around the damn bush about putting 2 and 2, or in this series case 3 and 3, together? Cutscene-wise, the characters are more darker and lifelike, with a bit more attention given to the backgrounds as opposed to in-game. As far as replayability, once again, refer back to that same exact topic I covered in the first Ninja Gaiden game. Otherwise, the replay value falls in between those, if somehow lower, of the last two games. My final verdict on the Ninja Gaiden series, by an exact percentage, here's how I favor each game. Considering how simplistic this is, to me it's a far more suitable medium than just words. Despite these unnecessary statistics, and if you're heavy into balls-to-the-wall 8-bit ninja action at its finest, I highly recommend all three. And if I were you, I'd also try out that SNES collection remake, Ninja Gaiden Trilogy, considering how highly rare it is, priced at roughly a mind-blowing $200, even if sealed no less. Until then, this is the Hardcore Retro God signing off.